Futsal has evolved greatly in the last decade, primarily due to a change in the rules, which has made the game more dynamic. Today, it is one of the most popular sports in Brazil, making it appealing for both players and spectators. The evolution has touched all aspects of futsal training, including the physical, technical, tactical, and psychological aspects. In high-level futsal, success or failure in competition can be attributed to the training elements to which the players are subjected. Futsal training should be organized in a global fashion, with the objective of reaching the highest performance possible through a complete training regimen. Futsal training can be defined as the combination of procedures and methods put into practice to raise the player to physical, technical, tactical, and psychological plenitude. To make this possible, one should outline the proposed objectives in a coaching plan. It can be said that futsal training consists of components that are all interrelated, such as the technical and tactical elements, which have an ever more important significance in the positive outcome of competition. The structure of futsal training can be divided into 6 areas. Physical. The physical element is one that includes the methods used both for the development of physical resistance and coordination. Technical. The technical element is a collection of activities and teachings that the player assimilates, developing and consolidating the technical fundamental with the maximum amount of efficiency and the least amount of effort. Tactical. The tactical element is a collection of procedures that will assure that the player and/or team uses the most appropriate tactical options for each match situation or for each type of opponent. Psychological. The psychological element is a part of the futsal training that, considering individual, hereditary, and genotypic characteristics, as well as assimilated influences from the environment or phenotype, help the player to tolerate the training sessions and reach his maximum potential through the strengthening of his will. Clinical. The clinical element consists of the therapeutic properties of general medicine and specific properties of sports medicine. Administrative. The administrative element is a collection of administrative measures that aim to provide the necessary support so that the other elements can be fulfilled with the most efficiency and effectiveness possible. Technical training, which should be an integral part of the coaching plan from the outset, can be defined as a structured sequence of exercises that have the goal of learning, forming, perfecting, and refining the specific technical skills of futsal. Technique is the performance of all skills of the game and the skills that the player requires in order to become a complete player, directed at performance with maximum efficiency and minimum effort. As the individual assimilates personal technique, he perfects himself, making the movements automatic, performing them without thinking, enabling himself, therefore, to focus his attention on the tactical elements of the game. 2 aspects are very important and should be emphasized, both when developing and perfecting his skills. 1. Bilateral symmetry is performing the technical fundamentals of futsal with both feet. 2. These skills should always be trained within the context of a game situation. Technical mastery is an important requirement for good tactical understanding and performance, because a technically sound player is able to dedicate his thoughts and actions to the basics of the game, such as reading the positioning of his teammates and opponents, and making the appropriate decisions for the various situations as they occur during the match. Technical fundamentals in futsal are the following: passing, ball reception, ball movement, shooting, heading, dribbling, faking, and basic defense fundamentals. These fundamentals are just as relevant for the players who play on attack as for the goalkeeper, taking into consideration the game's rule modifications. that have made the goalkeeper an integral participant with an active role during the entire game. It is important for the goalkeeper to also participate in the technical training of the team. The most common used methods are the following: in the form of a circuit, in the form of a game, in a real game situation, and individually. We will now go to a detailed description of each fundamental of futsal. Passing. Passing is the core fundamental in futsal. The results of the team will bear a direct correlation to the acquisition and development of this important skill. It also opens the options for the team with regard to its tactical movements. Three aspects are important for passing. Precision. The pass has to be made with precision and accuracy in a predetermined direction. Safety. Avoid letting the pass be intercepted by the opposing team by creating a better passing angle and make sure that it reaches its target. Make the pass easy for the teammate to control and advance with the ball. Weight. The player must use the correct amount of weight on the pass so that the ball reaches his teammate and cannot be intercepted by the opponent. This means not passing the ball too softly or too hard. The passer is responsible for the ball reaching the teammate in a precise and safe manner with the correct amount of weight within a specific area of the court. The pass must be executed with good understanding and eye contact between the two players. In modern futsal, the players move around the court in a dynamic way. It is therefore important for the ball to be moved about quickly and early, making it move as much as possible so that the player does not waste any unnecessary energy. The perfect pass allows the player to gain time and space, making it difficult for the opposing players and optimizing tactical play. Types of passes. Passes can be classified as follows. Distance. The classification depends on the distance between the player making the pass and the one receiving it. Short pass, up to 4 meters. Medium, from 4 to 10 meters. Long, over 10 meters. Trajectory. This depends on the game situation, the positioning of the opponent, of the teammate, and the type of pass. Ground level, medium height, high. Considering the part of the foot. This depends on the distance, trajectory, precision, safety, and the game situation. A pass with the inside part of the foot. A pass with the outside part of the foot. A pass with the heel of the foot. A pass with the bottom of the foot. A pass with the front of the foot. Considering the direction of the pass. This classification depends on the direction in which the pass will be made and the positioning of the teammate. Side pass. diagonal pass, parallel pass. Passing variations. This classification depends on the ability of the player and the game situation. Passes can also be made with the following parts of the body: thigh, chest, head, shoulder, heel, by lifting, with the heel, now we will show you how to perform training of the passing fundamentals. Ball reception. It is a fundamental of futsal, the ability a player must have to control and/or receive the ball, as well as keep possession of it. This aspect is indispensable, for not only does it stop the trajectory of the ball from passes or set play situations, but also command of the ball executed with efficiency makes for a quicker game. At the same time, to receive the ball and have it close to the body allows the player to immediately pass or shoot the ball with assurance and precision. It is important in ball reception to adjust the body to the ball's trajectory. Consequently, players must constantly practice this fundamental and develop their first touch on the ball. It is important to emphasize that ball reception and passing are two primary elements of futsal. Two aspects have to be considered when looking at ball reception and trajectory, the part of the foot or body that will be used. With the foot, the inside, the most reliable and efficient, with a larger ankle surface, also allowing the player to shift direction to the side with greater ease. The outside, also an efficient way, yet more difficult. It is generally used when the ball comes from the side, crossing in front of the body. The top of the foot. It is the hardest way in which to control the ball, requiring a very special skill. The ball has to be absorbed as it falls, receiving it with the top of the foot, with a top-to-bottom movement. The sole of the foot. This technique is used when the ball comes from the front and is often used in futsal for its reliability. It is important to make sure that the ball does not slip between the heel and the ground. With the thigh. The inside. With the chest. Absorbing the ball and letting it fall, close to the body, down to the feet. With the head. Receiving the ball with the forehead, while making a backward cushioning movement with the head, and then leaving the ball to fall to the ground close to the body. Let's look at the example of training of receiving fundamentals. Movement with the ball. This encompasses all aspects of moving the ball forward, advancing through all the areas of the court. The player must be able to pass, shoot on goal, or even keep the ball in his possession. This gives continuity to the game, and movement with the ball in small spaces can be difficult due to the dimensions of the court. Certain aspects must be considered when talking about movement with the ball, such as have the head held high to see the movements of one's teammates and opponents. Keep the ball close to the body to protect it. The way in which the player should move the ball depends on his speed and direction. If the player is going in a straight line and with speed, the best way to move the ball is with the top of the foot or outside part of the foot. However, if going in a straight line but at a moderate pace, he should use the inside or outside part of the foot or the sole of the foot. Shooting. Shooting is one of the fundamentals that is most used in futsal, and it is used as frequently in open play as it is from set plays. The techniques for shooting have similarities with passing. However, the objective, the strength, and precision used are parameters that set them apart. 4 aspects that make shooting more efficient. Planting the foot. The planted foot is the one that holds up the body at the moment of the shot. It is an important factor in determining the high or low trajectory of the ball. Straight low trajectory. The planted foot should be placed right next to the ball. High trajectory. For the ball to rise, the planted foot should be placed slightly behind the ball, making it easier to lift the ball. An important observation is that the planted foot should never be placed in front of the ball. Position of the contact foot. This is the second aspect in determining the efficiency and movement of the shot, as well as deciding the trajectory we want to give the ball. A firm strike with a low and strong trajectory. The ball must be well struck with either the front, top, inside or outside part of the foot. Elevating the ball with a firm strike. Hit the ball with the part between the top of the foot and the toes, with the planted foot far from the ball. A curved trajectory with spin. The outside or inside part of the foot is used. The best solution for this shot is to keep the ball on the ground. Body balance. When we plant our foot on the ground, We transfer all of the body weight to this leg. And with this leg, we must find our body balance, which is indispensable for the shot. The contact leg should be able to move freely, moving like a lever, allowing the contact foot to be efficient. The inclination of the body over the planted leg is what allows the contact foot to be totally extended at the moment of impact. Power that is defined by the motion. This aspect is affected by the three previous ones. The player must take his shots using the correct amount of strength to meet the desired objective. A very hard shot rarely goes in the desired direction. The most effective is a well-aimed shot in which you can raise the strength without risking the direction. Types of shots. With regard to trajectory, shots can be ground level, medium height, high. With regard to execution, a shot with the front of the foot, a shot with the back of the foot, a shot with the inside of the foot or the outside, with the head, while jumping, now, here are examples of training of shooting fundamentals. Heading. Even though it is not often used in futsal, this fundamental should also be trained. The ball should be hit in a way that the player does not feel the shock, no matter how hard the ball comes, and must be headed with power. The ball should be hit using only a backwards-forwards movement of the upper body and neck. Although heading the ball without jumping can be effective in certain circumstances, the most correct way is for the player to get used to jumping. The player should practice perfectly timing the jump, adjusting to the arrival of the ball at the maximum of his range, always hitting the ball with the forehead, with the neck moving in a forward motion, flexing the hips in order to give more strength to the head, and using the arms for balance. The header to the side should be done using the side of the forehead, with a slight rotating of the neck. In the defensive zone, the player should be focused on clearing the ball. In the middle of the court, the focus should be on changing the direction of the ball, passing it to a teammate. Or in the offensive zone, the header should be used to score. Dribbling is the act of advancing with the ball in the court, while deceiving the opponent, trying to get by him in possession. It is a natural talent, an innate ability that involves balance and body equilibrium, footwork, speed, and especially shrewdness. The player must be aware of the opponent's movements and the moment in which to move in relation to him. The big advantage is that the opponent cannot be sure as to what the player with the ball will decide to do. Dribbling should be used in opportune moments, in those circumstances in which the opponent can be beaten, and can result, depending on the placement in the court, in scoring a goal. However, this fundamental should be used as infrequently as possible. That is, only when it is truly necessary. In a defensive situation near the goal area, the defender should avoid dribbling. In the majority of cases, it is preferable to clear the ball out of bounds, conceding a sideline kick to the opponent as a precautionary measure. Dribbling is one of the elements of the game that, in order to be applied correctly, requires the player to possess quick reaction skills, speed of execution, a good notion of time and space, coordination, and improvisational skills. Dribbling can be used in 3 situations. In the defensive zone, in order to keep possession of the ball in a secure situation. In the central area, to make a specific play possible, holding the ball for a pass to a teammate. In the offensive zone, to create goal opportunities. Dribbling can be done with the feet or with the body, at a standstill or in motion. Faking. In futsal, the player must be prepared to occupy all areas of the court, because one plays more frequently without the ball than with it. Faking can be described as the fundamental which the player without the ball is able to unbalance and move the opponent, thus breaking coverage and becoming open, making himself available to receive the ball in a good position from one of his teammates. There are two types of fake that are used: by changing direction and move and cut away. Basic defense fundamentals. An essential fundamental of futsal is the positioning of the player so he is ready to execute a defensive action anywhere in the court. The player should always have his knees bent, the upper body slightly inclined forward, and the legs a bit separated, avoiding crossing his legs when making lateral movements. The player should understand which is the dominant leg of the opponent and try to make his movement difficult. If the opponent is moving forward with the ball along the sideline, he should close the center angle, forcing the player wide. The defender should stay at a distance of 1 meter from the opponent, avoiding contact or committing himself too soon. Once the opponent has made his move, the defender should try to steal the ball. If the attacker is able to put the ball ahead, the defender should first try to regain his position in front of the attacker, and only then try to steal the ball. Warming up for futsal. Before starting any activity, it is necessary to first perform an adequate and specific warm-up session, reaching as closely as possible game-like or training situations in a simple and systematic manner. Stretching should precede any training session and follow light jogging. Initial movements can be made with or without the ball, depending on the available time frame or the stage of the training. A warm-up session before a tactical training session should contain slow running. Stretches. recreational games. An important aspect that should always be taken into consideration is stretching after matches and training sessions. We hope that by the end of this first volume of Futsal, that we have helped you to improve your knowledge, primarily in the area of technical fundamentals, which are paramount to the success of your team and must be an integral part of your coaching plan. In the second volume of Futsal, we will be looking at the tactical element.